What a wonderful world we live in when a guy who doesn't talk, who doesn't like to talk, has to learn how to communicate in order to survive, and not just to survive, but I did a lot of bad things in my life, and like if I could help one person take a different path, like not take a different path, but if I can share things and it's gonna help someone not take the same path I did, then that's good. That's the point. So my rent went from 750 to 900 to 1,400 where I live right now. And I have to move out because the owner sold the building. So it's like three condos, one on top of the other. And she sold the whole building, and so I have to explain a lot of things about this. So right now I was paying 1,400. So the person sells the building, right? So you have to move out. You have to start looking for a new place to live. But the thing is, in Quebec, well, I don't know if it's in all Quebec, but in Montreal anyway, there's a shortage of rents, of locations, right, of buildings. There's a shortage because they're not building apartment buildings fast enough and things like that. So, like, as soon as the person, the landlord told me I had to move, the next day I was looking for a place to live. So the prices were between 2000 and 2005 in the area I live in. Now, some people say if you wait, right, because I did it like 6 months before people start searching for apartments. So some people say if you wait longer to search for an apartment, the rent is going to come down, because now if you go too fast, the apartments are not even listed yet, right? So you have less options. But at the same time, if I did that, there is a chance that I won't find an apartment because there's a shortage and there's a lot of people looking for an apartment. So the price would be down, yes, but the more I wait, the more I risk not having a place to live. And a lot of people, this last year happened to a lot of people, and they ended up homeless. So that's no joke. So what I did is that across the street there was a building under construction. It's not even finished yet, but I think another month and it's going to be finished. So I just went there, and I said, what's the price? And with the parking and a little stock room there in the garage, it comes to about 2,500. So I said, well, yeah, I'll take it. What do you want me to do, right? So I'm a truck driver, and there's a limit of money you can do when you're a truck driver. Like in my mind is I can always. I work 5 days a week, but I work at night, so it's like 6 days. But anyway, I can still put another day in. Okay, like that's what I was thinking when I went to rent the apartment. I can still manage by putting adding another day of work. That would give me like 200 more for extra for that day, and 4 weeks that's $800. So like right now, what I'm paying right now, paying the car, paying the electricity, paying everything, there's almost no money left at the end of the month. So if I put in an extra day of work, it's going to come about to the same thing. I'm going to be able to survive, but I'm not going to have anything left. So I first heard the song I Will Survive when I think I was about 17. I was working in a roller skate rink, and I was speaking with my friend Lynn. And at that time, you could go roller skating You could either bring your skates or we could provide the skates. So I was the guy behind the counter providing the skates, and I was talking to my friend Lynn, and this song "I Will Survive" came on, and I said to my friend Lynn, "Wow, this is amazing. This is going to be a hit, you know." And she said, "You think so?" And believe me, I think it became the biggest hit in the world, I think. But "I Will Survive," it's only a song, right? And obviously, a lot of people are not surviving right now. In the US, the number of homeless people is rising and rising and rising. In Montreal, it's the same thing. Like, people are not surviving. A lot of people are even, I'm sure you heard this on the news, people in Canada are asking to die. So, will I survive? Now, I've got some options, right? And that's what I'm doing right now. I'm communicating and I'm working on things. So basically, at about age 17, you know, like I think it was 17 to 25, I started to work in a furniture store, and then the owner said, the owner said, "You want to go on delivery?" So I went on delivery, and then the owner said, "You want to buy my truck, and I'll just, instead of giving you a salary, I'll give you like $20 every time you deliver a fridge." No, something like that. I think it was $20 for a fridge. And then we had a lot of problems in Quebec when, you know, globalism hit Quebec and all the companies were leaving for, I'm not going to say China because companies went everywhere, right? Bangladesh, all over the place, you know. And I don't understand the economy enough to know why this happened, but like, there's a lot of products, like when there was no cars, you didn't need no tires, right? But then the cars, they multiplied, and you need tires, millions and millions of tires, and tires are made of rubber, and I suppose that rubber doesn't come from the US, it comes from another country, right? So probably the people who run the world economy said, well, we're going to need this, we're going to need that, where there's a shortage of rubber, and you know, let's go in another country because that's where we can get the rubber. I don't know, but that's not important. What's important is that from 17 to 25, I delivered furniture, and then all the furniture stores started to close down, to shut down. So I went to work for a moving company. And so I did that for a little while, but the boss told me, like, we don't have work all year here, you know, like you're gonna work a couple of months in the summer and then we're gonna have to lay you off. So I said, okay. So I was walking down the street and I saw a taxi driver, and I went to see him. I said, how do I become a taxi driver? He told me how to do it. And I said, can I make this much money on a taxi? He said, yeah, of course you can. You know, my rent was, I think, only $200 back then. And it was a one-bedroom apartment. And that was good for me also, because the lifestyle I had is I started to go at strip joints at age 15, and then I was in bars every night, right? And I preferred to be in bars, not just strip joints, but you know, like I went to see bands and things like that. And I preferred to not have anything and not spend too much money on an apartment, so that I could have money to go out. You know, that was fit more with my nature. So I did that, right? So I went to work for this moving company, and then I said, okay, if they don't have work all year, I'll do like the summer on moving. And they also had the contracts. The company I worked for had the biggest contracts for delivery in Montreal. They did the biggest stores, even IKEA phoned them for delivery. Leon's and things like that, they called them, but if they did not pay enough, he just rejected them. But we did Inglis, Maytag, you know, everything that's big, we did it. So we did furniture delivery and moving. So I was a taxi driver in the winter and a mover in the summer. And now I drive a tractor trailer. But why I'm saying this is that I have options, right? Because I have a certain experience in the moving business and delivering furniture and stuff like that. So what I'm planning to do is, and I'm working on this, is I'm going to try to become a moving broker. Let's say I can go see moving companies, right? And say, I'm going to advertise myself as a broker and people are going to phone me and I'm going to give you the work and I'm going to take a commission. That's a plan I have. I have the plan of becoming an influencer. I have the plan of, making a site for just good music and movie trailers, like I started that too. Like the movies are so terrible on Netflix that I dropped out of Netflix, and I chose Amazon instead. But for a time, the movies were so bad that I wasn't even watching them anymore. Now, for a year, I'm starting to see good movies again. So anyway, that's another thing I'm working on, and I'm working on, like everything that comes through my head. But the point is that will I survive? Will I be able to do it? I'm going to try to do it. But it doesn't mean it's going to work, right? Because, we live in a difficult time, like every time you turn on the TV, everything is shutting down. But I'm also standing between two paths. Path? Man, it's not easy to speak English when you never speak. And I'm going to explain this. How could I say that? I'm standing between two paths because on the one hand, I have to do things to survive, right? And on the other hand, I have to do things because I want to help people. So I want to talk about things that pisses me off, and since I'm young, I want to talk about things that people don't talk about because that's the point, right? If you talk about things that you're not supposed to talk about, you can lose your job and everybody start to freak out and you get judged and things like that. So if I make one move, if I want to survive, I got to make this move. I got to become a moving broker. I got to start to thinking business, influencer, blah, blah, blah. And on the other road, I want to help people and I need to do it. Like it's no joke. So basically what I'm trying to say is I'm going to talk about a lot of subjects. Like I'm going to go from BDSM and just saying that word can get me into trouble, okay? So I'm going to talk about BDSM and I'm going to jump to politics, to justice, to religion, to psychology, to a lot of things. So yesterday I posted a video about a girl who's a dominatrix, okay? And the reason I did that is because I wanted to talk about some things and nobody was talking about it. And I was saying in my mind, how come nobody is talking about this? What's going on? And then I see this girl pop up in my YouTube and she's saying that BDSM is going too far. So I said, finally, somebody is talking about this, right? So I posted her on my Facebook because she's the only one who's talking about that. But basically, with the invention of the internet, there is no more secrets. And since there is no more secrets, there is a lot of blackmail out there. And people are being blackmailed and they can't speak. And it's causing a lot of trouble because a lot of politicians and a lot of powerful people are caught into this. So what I'm saying is that when I say that with the internet, there's no more secrets, is that I can buy a tool or I don't have to buy it. Like I can pay like $30 a month to have a keyword tool. And with this keyword tool that everybody that's in marketing are using right now, they know everything that people are typing on the internet. Okay, so everybody right now has no more secrets. Of course, it's in general, right? Like they're gonna see like a million people are typing this word like cockle or foot fetish or BDSM or femdom or findom or whatever, or porn or big anything. Like in general, they're gonna know exactly what people are typing. And of course, those who invest more money into programs and stuff like that and hackers, they can actually, see which IP is doing what. And when you go on Facebook anyway, I know how social media works, right? So you have the administrator and everybody else is a user, right? So the administrator logs into Facebook, and then he sees all the emails that have registered and everything that people do. So there's no more secrets. When the movie 8mm with Nicolas Cage came out, I was already thinking, that's a long time ago, and I was already thinking about making a movie about that. And my brother had just came back from seeing 8mm. See how life is strange. I was thinking about a movie about that, and my brother comes back from seeing the movie 8mm, and I say, hey, I got an idea for a movie. It would be like this, like that, like that, like that. And my brother said, forget it. I just want to see a movie that's almost talks about the same thing. So I said, okay, forget it. But my movie was not going to be exactly the same as 8mm. That's more like it's more dark than what I was planning. But the main topic is the same, right? People are getting hurt into all kinds of they have fantasies, and they're looking online for people, like right now FetLife is a site for people who have fetish, and I think there's like 10 million people on that site. So there people, like, I could tell, right? Like I said, I could use a keyword tool and I could see everything that people are typing. So people are typing all kinds of stuff and they're searching for people, but that's the excellent victim. Like, the person cannot tell anybody, right? That the person cannot tell anybody that they're looking for this. So for the guy who wants to, like in the movie 8mm, the guy who wants to take advantage of a person like that, I mean, who's gonna know, right? Because the person can't tell their parents, they can't tell nobody, they can't even tell their friends. So they're finished. So that's something that I want to address in the future. So when I say that I'm standing between two roads there, if I choose one, it might affect the plans I am making for business, because the people are gonna say, what? This is weird. Well, yeah, it might be weird, but like I said, like every damn politician in the US is probably blackmailed because he's into some type of things, weird stuff there, okay? And like I said, FetLife has like 10 million members right now. And every time you see, you go on the internet, you're bombarded with porn and all kinds of stuff like that, right? So, strange, you can't talk about it. Everybody's searching for it. Everybody's on it. And if Pornhub is that famous, it's because a lot of people in the world are looking for porn. You know what I mean? So I'm gonna have to choose to talk about things that people don't want to hear. I'm gonna have to do it. So maybe I will not survive. That's what I'm talking about. Maybe the plans I'm doing for becoming a moving broker or whatever else I'm planning, maybe even being an influencer, I don't know. But like when I was young, right? Like uh, how could I say that? What was the book there? 50 Shades of Grey, I think. I'm not sure. I think that was the first book about BDSM. But I had these fantasies like very, very young, right? All kinds of fantasies. And I thought that I was the only one to have these fantasies until what was the I think Fantasy Island was the first show on TV that addresses this issue, and then we had Exit to Eden with Rosie O'Donnell. And then when Exit to Eden came out, there was a couple of movies about that also, I think. And then came 50 Shades of Grey. And then from 50 Shades of Grey, there everything exploded. And the point I'm saying is that in BDSM, a lot of people are taking advantage of a lot of people, and a lot of people are getting hurt, and I got to do something about it. That's what I'm trying to say. Because that's where there's the most damage done to society. It's in the underground. So, what do you think, guys? Am I going to survive? I don't know. But I'm going to choose the path that I can help. If I can help someone, I will. So, over and out.